Welcome to the Flow Map On Demand series. Session 10. Boundaries as Love. A boundary is not a wall. It is intentional engagement for where we choose and how. The word boundary has a wall in it, culturally speaking. We have been taught that boundaries are rejection, that setting one is closing a door, withdrawing care, choosing ourselves at another's expense. And this teaching has done enormous damage, particularly to those who learned early that their safety depended on remaining agreeable. But consider another definition. A boundary is not the line where we shut others out. It is the line where we stand up for what we know to be true, for what we need to remain well in our being, for the version of yourself that is capable of genuine love, genuine presence, genuine generosity, free of any reactivity to others' behaviour. When others' behavior dictates what we give and withhold, we lose our own structure, our own autonomy. We cannot give from what we do not have, and the most consistent way to deplete our capacity for care is to live without the structures that replenish it. Today we breathe into the truth that boundaries are not the opposite of love. They are love's paramount infrastructure. Today's breathing will be coherence breathing of 5 in and 5 out through the nose. We are working today with clarity and steadiness rather than release. The coherence breath creates the regulated state from which clear, grounded decision-making flows. This is the nervous system at its most discerning, capable of knowing what is true and saying it with warmth rather than apology or aggression. We will begin our first breath on the inhale, beginning in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out 2, 3, 4, 5. Even on both sides. You are finding your own rhythm with breathing, but also with boundaries. We'll begin with a grounding. Feel the space you occupy right now. your body in this room, on this surface. This is your space. You are allowed to be in it fully. We hold the tendency to make ourselves smaller when others around us make themselves larger. Our shoulders rounding, breath shortening, the subtle collapse of the body when it does not fully believe it has the right to be here. If you have found yourself shrinking even slightly before in any room, in any experience, if you're open to it, try to notice it now. Where in the body did you feel it? And with the next inhale, allow yourself to take up space there. Space that was actually yours. Space that perhaps others dismissed or could not see through the fog of their own projection. You have every right to hold all the space that is actually you. Five in and five out, breathing as someone who is allowed to be here. You are allowed to be here. Anchor 1. Where boundaries come from. Boundaries are not rules we impose. They are truths we finally honor. When we have not yet developed a capacity to hold boundaries, it is almost never because we don't know that something is wrong. It is often because at some early point in our life, we learned that speaking the truth of what we need, something was too much, that was not okay for us, led to social or relational consequences that felt more threatening than the actual violation itself. Abandonment, ridicule, anger, being labeled difficult, the withdrawal of love. The self-leadership this program has been cultivating is the slow build of authority that becomes more trustworthy than the external noise of others' approval. When your own knowing is reliable, when you can feel in the body what is true for you, the boundary becomes less of a confrontation and more of an inner statement of what truly honors your well-being and that of others. Not questioning, am I doing something wrong? More so asking, is this what is true for me? Is this what I can give right now? Knowing what you need from others, or what you must do for you first to remain available to them at all. Where they cannot respect what you need, boundaries don't require them to change. They only require that we know what they are and when or how we need to engage or disengage to protect us as well as others. Breathing in for 5 and out for 5. Breathing from the place where your own authority lives. Anchor 2. The boundary that protects the love. Here's what becomes possible when boundaries are in place. Genuine presence, intentional and sustainable care, and real intimacy. Genuine presence because you are no longer managing resentment. You can actually be there. The relationship stops being something you endure and becomes something you choose. Choosing how it looks. Choosing what access others will have of you. When each person can respect this, each can be present and free of resentment for any lack of that respect. Intentional and sustainable care, because the structure replenishes rather than depletes. You can give for longer, more freely, without the accumulation of weight that eventually turns generosity into bitterness. And real intimacy, because the version of you who shows up is real, not some managed version or some collapsed version. The version that has given so much away there is nothing left to know. The actual you, the actual preferences and actual limits, That is who someone else who is also genuine in their preference, honest about their limits, can genuinely love. The absence of boundaries does not create closeness. It creates a performance of closeness, a relational dance where, interchangeably, only one person can ever actually be present. One either giving or taking, neither giving from a more balanced and full place with love. The boundary creates the conditions for two whole people to meet respectfully, exactly as themselves. Coherence breathing of 5 in and 5 out. Breathing as someone who has something worth protecting, and protecting as an act of love, not selfishness. Anchor 3. A boundary spoken from the steady center. In this program, we speak of the steady center, the quiet witnessing awareness that holds all the parts without being taken over by any of them. A boundary spoken from the steady center sounds different from a boundary spoken from a guarded response that is busy defending, or an avoidant response that is hurt. It is clear rather than aggressive, grounded rather than apologetic. It does not require the other person understand it or agree with it for it to be true, for it to still honor love and acceptance. Think of a boundary you know you need to hold or establish somewhere in your life right now. Not dramatically, simply the truth of what you need. Feel what it would be like to say it from that centered place, not with anger, not with apology, just, this is true, this is where I stand. This is what I need for me to show up truthfully, not depleted, not bitter, not angry. Lovingly, for me, for you. A few more final coherence breaths, 5 in, 5 out. You are allowed to need what you need, and you are allowed to say so. Boundaries are not the end of love. For many relationships, they are the beginning of it. The moment when something real finally becomes possible between two people who actually are present, calm and grounded in their truth, and able from that place to respect each other. Stand in yours with warmth, with confidence in how they serve everyone's best interests. They are an act of care. They are an act of love. It has been my honor to guide you today. May we meet again.